Good morning, guys. Welcome to NTI Day 7. Read with me. Today we are going to read a fiction text, A Kid in a Candy Store. So remember, fiction is going to be a made-up story that's going to have character, setting, plot, conflict, solution, those kind of things. So as you're reading, you want to think about what characters you meet and maybe some traits that you may use to describe those characters. And the way to figure out who is the main character in a story, and I know we've talked about it a lot, is who is it that you're kind of following through the story with, or who are you learning their thoughts, their feelings, that kind of thing. That is how you know who the main character is. So this is all fiction text this week. So that's what you all want to focus on this week. All right, so a kid in a candy store. It wasn't the candy he wanted. It was the skateboard. Tommy had been staring at it for weeks, every day on his way home from school, admiring it through the window of the skate shop on Market Street. It was a longboard, a serious skateboard, not meant for tricks or speed, but for long rides down hills on busy roads or all the way across town. This was a skateboard that could change Tommy's life forever. No longer would his parents have to pick him up after school or at the movies or the mall. The longboard would be able to take him home. All right, so I'm thinking Tommy may be our main character because we're kind of seeing what he thinks or how he's feeling. It was ocean blue with chrome wheels and an elaborate drawing of a rocket ship on the underside. Each time he passed his face against the glass of the skate shop, he felt himself fall into that picture. And in his dreams of riding the longboard became mixed up with dreams of interstellar travel. Interstellar. So I'm wondering what that word means. Let's see if there's any clues that can help us. He wasn't just going to the mall. He was going to Mars or Alpha Centauri, to anywhere in the galaxy he felt like. He was going to conquer the stars. All right, so interstellar travel, I'm thinking it could mean something about space, traveling in space, because we've got Mars, Alpha Centauri. I believe in that new series on Netflix, Lost in Space, the new season. We watched season 1, but I think Alpha Centauri may be the name of the ship or something that they're in the galaxy. So using context clues, I'm thinking interstellar travel means space travel. Or he would have anyway, if his dad weren't such a cheapskate. Ooh, cheapskate. There's something about fathers that makes it impossible for them to understand skateboards. Dad, Tommy said, it's the world's finest skateboard. It could change my life forever. That's great, said Dad. I'm all for kids having hobbies, but that's an expensive little toy, and it's not a toy. Tommy felt himself about to lose his temper. If he shouted, he knew he would never come close to owning his board. He collected himself. It's a whole new way of life. When you were my age, what was the thing you wanted more than anything else? The thing you dreamed about, the thing you promised yourself you would get, no matter what. A black shadow? A what? A Vincent Black Shadow, the world's finest motorcycle. A more beautiful piece of machinery has never been designed. So, yeah, this board is like the Vincent Black Shadow for the 21st century. So you see why I have to have it. You know what my dad had told me when I asked for a Black Shadow? What? Nothing. I didn't ask him because I knew he'd think it was nothing more than an expensive toy. I went out, got a job, and started saving. Man, said Tommy, I was afraid you'd say something like that. Oh, parents, aren't they the worst? Dads are the worst, aren't they? All right, so this little asterisk here means that we've kind of went to a new setting. Tommy walked up and down Market Street looking for some place to work. The pizzeria wasn't hiring. The coffee shop said he was too young. The comic book store said he didn't have enough experience. If you hear stomping, that's my child. But how can I get experience? Tommy asked, if nobody will give me a job. The comic book clerk didn't answer. Tommy composed himself, said thank you, and left. The only store with a help wanted sign was the one he had been dreading most, Orson's Confectionaries, the candy store. I wonder why he's been dreading it the most. That sounds like it'd be a good place to work. Whoever thinks that all kids love candy stores have never been to Orson's. It had been in the town since the dawn of time and hadn't been updated much since. A dark, winding dungeon of a store, its shelves were filled with jars of weird, sticky gums and sucking candy so hard they would crack your teeth. Over all of it stood Mr. Orson, a hard-eyed skeleton of a man whose long gray hair and baggy clothes made him look like an out-of-work wizard. I love the visualization and the details that the author has put in this, because I can visualize what Mr. Orson looks like because of those details. Tommy didn't know how the confectionery stayed in business. So confectionery, that makes me think of like confectioner sugar. So confectionery is going to mean like that sweet sugar candy. Um, so that means that would mean candy. So in this case, he'd never seen a kid go in or out, and he never heard anyone talk about buying something there. How could that store turn a profit? And why would a store with no customers need an extra employee? Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to hit pause for just a moment. Alrighty. So, Tommy didn't know how the confectionery stayed in business. He'd never seen a kid go in or out, and he never heard anyone talk about buying something there. How could that store turn a profit? And why would a store with no customers need an extra employee? Tommy didn't want to find out, but the skateboard demanded he try. He pushed on the creaky old door, sucked in his breath, and plunged in. Sorry, guys. Dex is still screaming. How may I help you? Said Mr. Orson. He sounded like a snake with a cold. You're looking for sweets? No, well, some raspberry rope, perhaps? No, thank you. Actually, a chocolate lover, are we? Perhaps you'd prefer a chunk of Carlsberg Chew. It's the finest dark chocolate made in Germany. It has real hazelnuts inside. That sounds good, but actually, I see, said Mr. Orson, and his eyes went wide. His mouth crinkled up like a dead leaf, and Tommy got the impression that he is either about to scream at him or sneeze. I understand completely now. Understand what? You are a boy with a sour tooth. He reached behind him to the highest shelf on a rickety bookcase and presented Tommy with a star-shaped tiny yellow candy. Try this, a Sunburst Express, a sour candy of my own design. Yeah? Free of charge. Tommy licked his lips. If there was one thing in life he loved more than skateboarding, it was sour candy. The grosser the better, he thought. A candy wasn't any good unless it made you squeeze your face together, shut your eyes, and want to cry. That's how you knew it was nice and sour. It's pretty sour. It will make your tongue turn inside out. Tommy reached for the candy and popped it into his mouth. At first, he tasted nothing. But then, as he began to chew, it was like an oil tanker had spilled in his throat. His gums were on fire. His tonsils were tap dancing, and his tongue felt like it was about to turn itself inside out. Oh my goodness, he gasped. This is the best candy I've ever tasted. Why, thank you, said Mr. Orson. Have a sip of Fizzberry soda. It will ease the sensation. Now, you're looking for a job? How did you know? I could just tell. Desperate for a new toy, are you? It's not a toy. Well, yes, that's right. The Sunburst was a test. I don't want anyone working here who doesn't love sour sweets. I love them more than anything. Tommy remembered the skateboard. Well, practically anything. Good, said Mr. Orson as he handed Tommy an apron. Then you'll be getting your new toy very soon indeed. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So, our multiple choice questions, like always, make sure that you are reading all the choices completely. You can use the process of elimination to narrow down your answers, and you want to go back and underline the support for each answer. You can put the paragraph number next to each question as you go through and answer them. Your short answer questions, I need you to completely restate, put your answer, and then underline the support. Now, number 10 says support your answer with evidence from the passage. So now this one, you're going to have to write down the C. So anytime it says support your answer with evidence, you're going to have to go back and find the C, like what you would normally underline anyway, but that also needs to be part of your answer, okay? So number 10 today is going to be RAC, okay? But most of the time you are just doing complete RA and then underlining the C. All right. All right, guys. I hope you all have a great day. I'm glad Dexter finally quit screaming and stomping. He's mad at me right now because I'm not playing with him in his room. So